Okay, we left off over here in the bottom of Mem Aleph. We just turned the page. Just want to get back to it. The Gemara had said that shlichus, in regard to a get, is a pasuk. How do we know kiddushin? Because of makish havay liyitziyah. Because it says v'yotza v'hoysa lishacher. V'yotza is gershin, that's divorce. Hoysa is kiddushin. Okay. So the Gemara says. Person appoints a shliach to tithe his crop, his produce. Torim kedas balabayis. We mentioned the three levels of what? Of tithing. It's either 1/40th, 1/50th, 1/60th. These percentages are purely rabbinical. A person's more generous gives 1/40th. The average person gives 1/50th. The person who wants to give less is what? That's ein ra, that's 1/60th. So if he knows exactly the mindset of the one who appoints him to be the shliach, so when he tithes based on understanding what the mindset of the one who appointed him. If he doesn't know exactly what the mindset of the one who appointed him is, so he takes the average with the average person, that percentage. What happens? Piches, asora, tasora. So he says he took. So piches, Rashi learns. Tos says no. Shetorm echad me'arboim. He took off another. Right. He took off another 10. Gave 1/40th and let instead of 1/50th. Ohosif asora. Right. He gave too little. Truma so truma. It's valid. So we're going to see Tosas in a minute. How do we know that just as by kiddushin and gershin we say shlichus? How do we know you say shlichus? Because the Torah says only the owner of the produce is able to tithe it. Right? The Gemara says in Yevomis we say eid echad nem bisurin. Right? Somebody asks is something kosher or not kosher? He's believed to say it's kosher, not kosher. What about if a person has tevil, right? You have untithed grain, and you ask a third party, is it tevil? Right? He's not believed. Why isn't he believed? Because the Gemara says it's a chazik yisura. It's going against the status. He wants to change the status. If it's unclear, is it A or B? Is it kosher meat or not kosher meat? He's believed. But here where the grain is tevel, and the question was it tithed? So if it's the owner is believed because it's biyado. Because he himself can make that change, the owner. He's able to change the forbidden status to the permitted status. But a third party, unless he's delegated to be a shliach, he's not able to change his status. Therefore, an eid echad is not believed. Okay? That's the one of Yevamis. So over here, the only way a person who's not the owner of the grain or the produce is able to make the change only if he's a shliach. Right? So therefore here, so the more wants to know, so how do we know, what is the basis that he could be a shliach? Maybe we learn from Gershin, as the Torah introduces the concept of shlichus in regard to get. Mal Gershin shken yeshn chol. No, Gershin, divorce is something which is ordinary. Truma is creating an entity of kedusha. Maybe to create an entity of kedusha, it's only the owner itself. That's something which cannot be delegated. Torah wants the person himself to create that. Omakro atem gam atem. In regard to Trumas Meiser, the Torah says, not only are you able to tithe it, gam, also, what's the also coming to include? Gam atem l'rabbis is a shliach. That in regard to Truma, one is able to delegate it through a shliach. So we have a question. So we're saying, Truma cannot be learned from Gershin because Gershin is chol. Truma is Kodesh. Okay, so let the Torah say it by Truma. And we'll learn Gershin from what? From Truma. Right? V'nichtav rachmona b'truma v'neisi haroch v'nigru minei. Right? Let the Torah state from Gamatem, which we learn from there that Truma could be brought about through a shliach. And we'll learn Gershin or kiddushin from truma, because you're able to differentiate. Shikein yeshno b'machshava. Maybe the reason why the Torah is lenient, even though it's kedusha, the Torah is lenient in regard to truma, because it can be more easily brought about, which we don't find elsewhere. Even without verbalized, normally you say dvarim shav levein dvarim. What you think means nothing. In regard to truma, the Torah says that you're able to bring about the result by thinking it, thinking the northern corner of the grain, that should be truma. That's sufficient, although he doesn't verbalize it. So therefore, because I have a chiddush, which is a leniency by truma, maybe that's why the Torah allows it to come about through shlichus. But kedushin or gershin, which it's an action, it's not machshava, it's even more so, maybe not.
How do you deal with the gamma temple? The gamma temple shows that it proves that truma has a share.
Good.
So then, what does the machshava have to do with anything?
No, maybe that's why the Torah is allowing it to be delegated. Since it could be brought about in an unusual way, which is a leniency. It says the Torah is lenient in regard to even when the person himself designates the truma initially. Now forget about a shliach. Is the Torah being lenient? You cannot bring about something else with machshava anywhere else except for truma. So there's a leniency. So bringing about the effect of truma through a shliach is also leniency. It doesn't have to be you. You can even delegate it. That's also leniency. I understand, but I'm saying the pasuk says gamma. If Torah wouldn't say shlichus, I don't know shlichus. How am I supposed to know that you can make a shliach? To what extent is Torah being now? But now the Torah says you can't make a shliach. So I'll say, you know why the Torah is being lenient here? Because we find other leniencies. What leniency? That you could even bring it about through machshava. But elsewhere, where I don't find a leniency, maybe the leniency of shliach cannot, when the Torah says you, it means you, not delegating through a third party. Okay? Someone asks, so what do I have now? So I have two psukim. I have gershin, I have truma, I have rosh's truma. V'odetnan chabura she'ovet pischo. Right? One brings a korban pesach, a group, everybody joins in before it's slaughtered. So now, there are two mitzvahs in regard to korban pesach. There's a mitzvah of shchitas ha-pesach, and there's a mitzvah achilas ha-pesach, right? Two mitzvahs. Mitzvahs say of slaughtering the pesach and eating the pesach. So you originally had a chabura, a group. They purchased together a sheep or a goat. Now that goat or sheep went lost. And they said to one of the group, say ubakesh, go search for it, ushchot aleinu, and if you find it, slaughter it on our behalf. Okay? So what does that mean? That means he's their shliach. V'holachu motza, and he went and he located the lost sheep, v'shachat, and he carried out the agency. Ve'lochu v'shachu, and they also, because they didn't know what the outcome would be, whether he'd locate the sheep and do it. So they went, they purchased another sheep, v'shachtu. Im shelo nishchat rishon, if the first person, if his korban pesach was the first to be slaughtered, who ochel mishelo, he eats of that korban pesach, v'im ochlin, going to vein ochlin imo, and they also participate, right? You can only bring one korban pesach, you can't have two korban pesach. So since they appointed him to be the shliach, so which is their korban pesach? The first one, Nolon. How do we know we apply the principle of shlichus to korban pesach, to kochim? Right? Minolan. V'chi tema de nelev mihanach. Maybe I'll learn from truma, or I'll learn from gershin. Correct? Malahanach shkein yeshin chol etzel kochim. Relatively speaking, although truma is kodesh compared to gershin, correct? But to compare it, relatively speaking, to kochim, that's the ultimate kedusha. So although the Torah permits shlichus in regard to truma, maybe not by kochim. By kochim, you have to do it yourself. No, it is kodesh, but relative to kochim, it's considered ordinary. This is the more advanced level of kedusha. No. No, we're talking about the level of the object, what you're creating. What do you create by truma? You create an object of kedusha. Truma is kedusha. Kochim, when you consecrate something, it's a different dimension of Kedusha, right? One is Kodesh L'Hashem, the other is not Kodesh L'Hashem. It has Kedusha, but it's not Kodesh L'Hashem. Right? So it's a whole different dimension. So maybe for the more advanced level of Kedusha, that the Torah says that you have to do yourself. So how do we know that what? It could be delegated through a Shliach? And that the Torah says, Nafklam Reb Shua ben Korcha. I learned from a Pasuk that Reb Shua ben Korcha cites, the Omer Reb Shua ben Korcha, Minayin sheshluchu shlodin kamoso. How do we know that one's agent is the equivalent of himself? It's interesting. I don't know why. Some must lie here. Before the Gemara says, Shlichus minolon. The Gemara doesn't say, Shluch shlom kamoso minolon. Right? Here, Rabbi Shua ben Korcha says, right? Minayin sheshluch shlom kamoso. He totally fleshes it out, the full expression of it. How do we know one's agent is the equivalent of himself? Shenemar, v'shochtu also kol kal adas Yisrael bein arboim. The whole kal adas Yisrael was bein arboim, meaning after midday. V'chikol hakol kol shochtin. I mean, every Jew slaughters the same animal. For the way they shochet elechot, only one person, you only have one slaughterer. I mean, could everybody slaughter the same sheep or the same goat? So how is it considered they're all slaughtering it? That the one person is appointed to be the shliach, so he can represent 100 people or whatever it is, because you have to have a gzayis for each individual, and it's the equivalent as if they're all slaughtering the Korban Pesach. Okay? So we have three limudim, we have three psukim. We have Gershin, we have Truma, and we have Kochim, we have Korban Pesach. So now the Gemara asks, so if we're saying Truma, you're not able to learn from what? From Gershin, because it's Kedusha. Because Gershin is Chol. It's Chol. Right? Means the same thing. We only referred it to that because we wanted to differentiate between Truma and Kochim. Truma is Chol. For Chol, maybe yes. So we needed a pasuk for Truma. And we can't learn Get from Truma because that's Machshava. Even though Truma is not Chol, but it's Machshava. So, and how do we, what about Kochim? Kochim you're not able to learn because relatively speaking, this is Kedusha, and that's less. So we have a third pasuk. So the question is, after the Torah tells me that you're able to have it at the most advanced level, right? V'nesi hanach v'nigminei. So what? We'll see in a moment. Kochim is also b'machshava. Right? We mentioned yesterday, you consecrate an animal b'machshava, similar to Truma. So Truma, you can learn from, right? You could learn from Kochim.
No, but how's that? Because when we speak about Korban, we speak about shechtering it, not designating it.
No. It doesn't make a difference. But it's the area. But that's not enough. That's enough to differentiate between Get, for Truma, you still be able to learn. Because the Gemara is going to say something else. Right? So Gemara says, V'nesi hanach v'nigrim minei. Let's learn everything from Kochim. Kochim, which is the most advanced, and the Torah allows it to come about through shlichus. So Truma, which is less, and Get, and Kedusha, which is unrelated totally, definitely should be able to bring it about through shlichus. And that the Gemara says, Mishum dikal lemifrach. You're able to differentiate. Malakochim shkein rov masen al yidei shliach. Right? Kabbalah ve'elif. Right? Shchita is ksher b'zor. A non-Kohen can do shchita. But Kabbalah, holocha, and Haktorah, that only a Kohen can do it. So most of the activities which have relevance to a korban is shlichus. We'll talk about it in a minute. So because it's all shlichus, Torah says, so the shchita could also be shlichus. That's what the Torah allows it. Since the majority of the activities of kochim only could be delegated, cannot be done by the person who brings the korban, it's only being delegated. Therefore, the laws of shlichus have relevance to korban.
That's what Truma means.
Wait a second. However, the others, where you could do it yourself, what does Truma have to do with shlichus? Right? Torah says, we have a puzzle. If you choose to make a shlich, you can. Right? But it's not, its activities are not, the profile is not a shlichus profile. Korbanos. Right.
Why are you looking at that as a split? The rest of the street, the rest of the korban process is part of the process, not
not a man of being a shliach for it. The process is you do this, and the rest of it is done some other way.
Okay, let's talk in a minute. Okay, let's get back to what we had before on Chav Beis. The Gemara says there's a principle by Shliach called Ma'id Motzi you Ovid, you Motzi L'Shav you Shliach. Anything you could do, you can make a Shliach. Something you can't do, you can't make a Shliach. Correct? It's okay. That's the Gemara. So we mentioned, so Tosas asked a question. So what's the Shaila in the Dorim? Shluchah D'Rachman, Shluchah Didan. What's even the consideration? A person makes a neder, he will not benefit from the Kohen. Could the Kohen officiate on his behalf? Because the Shluchah D'Rachman he could, Shluchah Didan he cannot. Right? If he's our agent, that means you're acting on my behalf. If you're God's agent, you're not acting on my behalf. Right? That would be the halacha difference. So Tosas asks, and the Gemara leaves it unresolved. So Tosas asks, but it's logic. The Gemara states a logical principle. Anything that you cannot do yourself, you can't appoint a shliach. So if the Yisrael or the Levi cannot officiate beyond shchita, it's understood it's shluchah d'rachmana. So what's the shaila? That was Tosas' question. What's the question? Right? It's obvious. It's shluchah d'rachmana. You're not the person's agent. You're not the shlich of the person. Of the person. Right? So what's the Gemara's question? That's Tosas' question. So Tosas answers that what the Gemara wanted to resolve the shaila from a brayso or a mishnah. That's a memra. That's a statement of an amora. Logically, you're right. The conclusion logically is shluchah d'rachmana. And therefore a person makes a neder, the Kohen can act on his behalf because he's not acting on his behalf. He's shluchah d'rachmana, he's God's agent. Right? But after everything is said and done, it's shluchah d'rachmana. So it's not shlichus. It's not shlich shalom kamosos. What's the Gemara here speaking about? Right? That's the difficulty. Right? The Gemara says the reason why by kochim that the Torah permits shlichus is because rov masen al de shliach. It is a shliach. It's not shlich shalom kamoso, but it's a shlichus. It's being done on your behalf. It may not be. It can be done. It's not you're doing it because you're not qualified to do it. But factually, the profile of carbon is it's your carbon, and it's done on your behalf. It is being done on your behalf, but the one who does it on behalf is not you. Right? Doesn't make a difference. But rov masein al de shliach. It's a shluchah d'rachmana. No, it can't be. It can't be. It's clear. That Tosas says earlier. It's shluchah d'rachmana. Right? Because principally speaking, anything which you cannot do yourself, the shlich cannot be empowered more than the one who appoints him. So who empowers the shlich to the Kohen to officiate at a location which the owner of the korban cannot? God empowers him. So what does that say? He's a shluchah d'rachmana. He's God's agent. He's not the person's agent. So that was the question. That's the question. So we're saying rov masin al dei shlich doesn't mean the shlich from kamoso. It means it's being delegated. So since the nature, the profile of a korban is always through a third party, it's not the person himself. Therefore, the Torah allows the shechita, which he could do himself, could also come through a third party. It's a third party, but not that the principle of the shechita and the principle of the others, it's the same function. That's kamoso. It's not kamoso. No, from shechita we learned the concept. Right? No, that's the reason we want to differentiate. That's why you can't learn the others from Korban Pesach. Right? See, by shochtu also kol kaldas Yisrael, that's bona fide shlichus. That is shlichus. Because shechita is ksher bizarre. Because even a non-Kohen could do that. So I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. It was bothering me. Wait one second before you ask the question. I mentioned before it says shlichus minonon. Rabbi Shua Korcha says shluch she'odem kamosa minonon. Why does he flesh it out here? You know why? Because he's learning from Kochim. And by Kochim, why are we saying you're not able to learn the others from here? Because Rov Masein al de Shliach. But it's not Kamoso. So how do you know Kamoso? That's why he's differentiating between Shechita and the rest of the Avodah. Yeah, but the others was Shlichus Ben Olan. We don't have to say the Kamoso. It's understood. The husband gives the get, the husband could be Makarish, of course it's Kamoso. But over here we have to differentiate between Shechita and the other avodas by the Kochim. The other Kochim, it's Rov Masen al Shliach. But that Shliach is not Kamoso. But since we see it comes about through others, therefore the Torah is lenient and allows even the first one to be Kamoso. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise bother me. Why does he say Kamosa and the other ones don't? The other ones don't have to say Kamosa because the other, it's understood it's Kamosa. Because only the husband can divorce his wife, or only the marriage is on behalf of the husband. The husband's doing the marriage.
How does it answer the analogy of the korban case? How does it answer? If you have korban case, you don't need the truma.
No, you can't, not able to learn it from there. Because Rov Masein al Shliach. Why is the Torah being lenient here? Because Kochim, the majority of the activities that validate the korban is al Yidei Shliach. Therefore, the Torah allows even the Shechita to be al Yidei Shliach. But the others, which doesn't have to be al Yidei Shliach, right? You're able to do it yourself. Marriage, divorce, truma. Maybe the Torah doesn't permit it to be delegated. Here, there's no choice.
So you need all.
Therefore, you need all the other limudim.
But Shechita is a separate issue than the rest of the
Correct, but it's the same korban. It's the same korban. The korban has dalar avodos. No. A person does shechita on the korban and stops there. Nothing else. Is the korban the valid korban? It's nothing. Shechita without the follow-up. The avodos that follow shechita. Any korban? No. Person, you do shechita, there's no kabbalah. No, there's no kabbalah. You do shechita without a kabbalah. Nobody receives the blood. Is it a valid korban? It's not. What do you have? Kabbalah, and the person doesn't transport it to the mizbeach. What do he transport? He doesn't sprinkle it. Right? So they're all connected. It's a set of four. So regard of what's called avodas hakorban, it's done, it's delegated. Not that it's necessarily you, but it can only come about through being delegated. Therefore, the Torah allows the first stage also to be delegated. But the others doesn't have to be delegated. Right. They're all connected. Because it's dalar avodos. Right? That's the principle. No, but the Torah says it's considered every Jew has a mitzvah to do shchitas Pesach, right? And it says it's shochtos or kol kal adas Yisrael. So you ask the question: is everybody doing shchita? Only one person is doing shchita. So how could be considered kol kal adas Yisrael? The answer is shlushim kaboso. The Kohen is waiting. When you shech the Korban Pesach, there's a Kohen there who receives the blood immediately. As you shech, he receives the blood. No. He brought it to the Beis. Of course, he brought it to the Beis Hamikdash. Of course, can't do it outside the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so the Gemara explains now. That's the reason why we need psukim for Gershin, for Truma, and for Kochim. So now the Gemara says, although we're not able to learn one from another because you're able to differentiate, but we have a principle known as Tzara Shoveh. Memotzina means the Torah states a principle in one location. Why I learn B from A? But if you could differentiate between B and A, so one is not able to be learned from the other. What about if I show, by presenting something else, that the differentiating factor is not a reason to differentiate? That's called Tzara Shoveh, as the Gemara will explain now. So then, the Gemara is going to ask, so what do you have to write? All three? Two should be sufficient. We'll say, Chad michad lo asya. You're not able to learn one from another. That's called Memotzino. One from another you cannot learn. Teisi chad mitarta. Tarti, one of them can be learned from both, from two. Gemara says, which ones? Hi Teisi. Which one should we learn from the other two? Lo nichtov rachmanu bekochim, beteisi mihanoch. Let's say Torah wouldn't write shlichus by kochim, by Korban Pesach. And I'd only have Gershin and I have Truma. Correct? Malahanosh kein yesh no chol. Right? That the Gemara says before. Right? Kochim, which is more advanced, maybe the Torah wants the person himself should be involved. That's chol. Chol eitzu kochim, shkein yesh no chol eitzu kochim. Lo nichtov rachmanu begershin, betenis mihanoch. Let the Torah not write shlichus by kochim, by Gershin, and we'll have kochim, we'll have truma. Malahanosh kein yesh no machshava. The reason why the Torah allows shlichus by truma and by kochim, Because both of them you're able to bring about through what? Through machshava, through thought. Which you can't, Gershon not. So, Elo lichtav rachmana b'truma, v'teisi mihanoch. Let the Torah not write shlichus by truma, we'll have it by Gershon and by kochim. So what are you going to say? You can't learn, we'll learn truma from Gershon. No, that is what? That's chol. Kochim yochiach. Right? And you can't learn from kochim, because rov maseo al yidei shlichus. Right? So we'll say, get yochiach. So I'm able to learn from tzad hashava. So why does the Torah have to write shlichus gamatem by truma? It's Torah superfluous. Where I'm able to learn it from tzad hashava. So Moshe says, it's correct. The gamatem, which is written by truma, it's not to draw from that shlichus. Shlichus I can learn from what? From Yershin and from Kochim. Elo atem gamatem lo malik. So what is the gam? Mi boy lechad Rabbi Yanai. It's Yudos for Rabbi Yanai. Who's Rabbi Yanai? Domer Rabbi Yanai. Gamatem matem b'nei bris avshluchem b'nei bris. Just as you're a ben bris, you're a Jew, your shlich has to be a Jew. No. For truma. For truma. The shliach has to be similar to yourself. Just as you're a ben bris, you're a Jew, your shlich has to be a Jew. Meaning, if you want to delegate it through a non-Jew, it's not going to be effective. No, we'll see. So Gemara asks, what do we need a pasuk to tell me that the person himself has to be a Jew? It's understood. It's just logic. We'll see Rashi in a moment. It's just a logical principle. A woman can be shlich for a man. Okay? Nafka, the Omer Reb Chia bar Abba and Reb Yochanan, Eina Eved Nasa Shlich L'Kabel Get Miyad Balo Shalisha. Although an Eved is like a semi-Jew, but within the context of get, he cannot receive the get on behalf of a woman from her husband. Wait. Why? It's logic. Levisheinu Toras Git Kiddushin. Because since an Eved has no relevance to marriage, right? An Eved can right is not a bar kiddushin. He cannot marry. He cannot divorce. Marriage has no relevance to him.
He's not a party in the transaction.
No, but to be appointed as a shliach.
I know, but he's not a party in the transaction. He's just in the middle.
No, but you can only function in the capacity if you have relevance to that capacity. But since an Eved has no relevance to marriage,
Why do we say that? Where we come up with that rule? Why is it also? I don't know.
you can only affect something if you have relevance to it. It's logic. It's a logical principle.
Here we have this whole issue with all these.
Right. Even if we have a principle of shliach, but the shliach has to have relevance to what you want to affect. If you would have the untithed grain, you could bring about that yourself. But let's say himself would have.
So how could the woman hire an agent to?
Not hire. Doesn't have to hire an agent. Because if he would be married, he could divorce his wife too. He has relevance to bring about this result, not in this woman.
He has the potential.
Meaning he has relevance to terminate a marriage. An Eved has no relevance to terminating marriage because he has no relevance to marriage. That's what we're saying.
It's logic. It's based on logic.
Pure logic, not psukim. You can only affect something that you have relevance to it. Not in this particular context. Right? It's not your wife. But since in regard to terminating a marriage, you being a Jew, you can, if you would be married, you could do this action to bring about this result. So therefore you could function in that capacity on someone else's behalf.
Then woman would be in the same category. for sure.
Won't be same thing. Okay?
It just seems like it isn't.
Take a look in Rashi. Lefisha Eino. Amo loboy kro. It's evidently from Reb Chia bar Abba. One doesn't need a pasuk for this. The svara islon lameimar. The midi lo shach be lo mesaber alei shliach. Something, an area that you have no relevance to. It's logic. You cannot be a shlich in that area. Because you can only affect something that you have relevance to.
Why can't if I want someone to be shliach for me, to go pick something up, whether he has relevance or not.
No. It's not picking. It's not picking.
Or accepting kiddushin.
He has to function the capacity of a husband. That means you're terminating. You're the equivalent of a man married to this woman, right? In that capacity. You can't be married to anybody. You're a slave. A slave is not married to anybody. You understand? It has to be, even though you can only divorce your own wife, you can't divorce somebody else's wife, but at this capacity, it's the equivalent of your wife. When we talk about a slave, it's his wife. He has no relevance to be married. So it's not within the it can't be his wife. No, but she has relevance to kiddushin. It doesn't make a difference. Right, doesn't matter which side of the equation it is. It's all the same. So factually, how do we know Truma? We're learning from Tzara Shava. I'm learning it from Gershon and from Kochin. What? No, we said that before. The Torah says Shlichus by Kochim. The Torah says Shlichus by Get. Right? So I'm able to learn from both. To Get, you can't say because it's Chol, because we see Shlichus is affected by Kochim. And you can't tell me you can't learn from Kochim because the majority of its actions are through Shlichus, because we find by Get. So we see that is not a factor in why you could be a Shliach. So therefore we have Gamatem is superfluous. So we're learning from here, right? So we're back to square one. That he has to be within the realm, relevance to what he wants to affect. That's logic. I don't need a pasuk for that. Right? So wait 1 second. And Evnas Shlich Habash right. So Moshe Torah's get. So Moshe Itzrich. We need it. So tight to Chamino. Eved la barateru klal. Regarding the slave, he has no relevance to marriage. Therefore, he cannot be an agent to receive the get on behalf of the woman. Aval ovid kochavim. But regarding truma, hold the isi b'truma denavshe. Let's say a goy would own a field in Eretz Yisrael, and Rashi learns Tosas argues it's going to the opinion that the ownership cannot revoke its status. A non-Jew owning a field in Israel is not like owning a field outside of Eretz Yisrael. The field outside has no relevance to Tevel. It's ein koich biyad akum lafkia. Ein kinyan. A non-Jew doesn't have an acquisition that his acquisition causes that the produce should not be subject to truma. Regardless who owns it. Regardless who owns it. Exactly. So the guy has the ability to take truma. I mean, he's not in violation if he eats it, but factually it is tevel, and therefore he is the owner. He personally could take truma. His truma would be an effective hafrosha. Correct. And unless the non-Jew takes it, because it's his produce, it's his field, it's non. Truma. That the non-Jew or the kusi who tithes, the truma is a valid truma. If so, I would think Emo Shlich Nami of it. So he has relevance. So maybe he could be appointed to be an agent to bring about this result, because if he'd have his own tevel, he can bring about this effect. Evet Kanani. Same idea. No, there's a non-Jew. No, we'd have to win Evet. It's Ovid Kocham Agoy. Maybe a non-Jew could be the what? Could be the agent to take truma on behalf of a Jew. Gam says no, he has to be a ben bris. He has to be similar in the same classification as the one who appoints him. Same as shlich nami ovid. So if that's the case, maybe he's able to be a shliach. Kamash from Lord. Gam atem, just as you're a ben bris, your shlich has to be a ben bris. Shaila. Maybe. Somewhere else, Reb Shimon the Potar. Reb Shimon argues, that's Tanakama. Reb Shimon holds that a non-Jew has a field in Eretz Yisrael. He cannot. It's ineffective. So we're back to the question. What's Gam coming to teach me? What do I need? The gam in regard, because truma I'm able to learn from tzara shoveh to be continued. Kaddish.